Yes, my people, welcome back to AFTV. Myself and James are here to preview the Everton versus Arsenal game this Saturday, an early afternoon kickoff, 12:30 at Goodison Park, the 40,000-seater stadium. Let's get it on the way. James, how you feeling for this game? They're sitting in 19th. We're top of the Premier League. Confident?
You should be when you hear that. But we know that it's always more complicated than that.
Yes.
Arsenal travel to a club. I think it's finally poised what we're going to get from Everton. It really is. You're going to get the manager bounce. Sean Dyche, first game. He's made to stifle a team like Arsenal. There's one thing he did with Burnley. It's build teams that are hard-working, good on set pieces, both attacking and defending them. Low block, wingers, two strikers. In a lot of ways, you fully expect them to cause Arsenal a lot of problems in a Dyche system. But then Jordan made the point, which I thought was spot on for Forever Arsenal. How long has he had with the team? Can you really expect such an early change? They've been leaking goals. We'll go through their recent results. And they've had the disappointment of the transfer window. We were talking to Mike on DR Sports, Everton fan, who was saying, look, it's so disappointing the way it's ended. Has that deflated the manager bounce before it even came? So there are so many different angles to this.
So many different angles, and like you just said there, let's go through some of their most recent results here and go through what we do know so far. So lost 2-0 to West Ham in their last five. There was a way to that game. Lost 2-1 to Southampton at home. Lost 4-1 to Brighton at home. Brighton's been in superb form this season. Drew 1-1 to Man City away, which a lot of people I think are going to reference when it comes to Everton to be a bit weary of them. Damari Gray with a goal, a player that I'm probably going to say is my danger man, but we'll get to yours towards the end of the show. And then lost 2-1 to Wolves at home. I just want to read this quick stat here. Everton are winless in their last 8 Premier League games, drawn 2 and lost 6. And last year, I remember going there with Robbie, and it was the 6th of December. We lost, a lot of uproar. That video, Robbie did a massive rant. He was furious. I remember on the car home, he was furious, and they hadn't won since September. And it was a complete throwback when I did the research for this preview and thought, wow, are we the club to, kick them back off again? Could it be the same this season? Let's hope not.
Well, when we lost that game, it was probably the one and only fan camp. We've lost games before. You think of that autumn of 2020, where Robbie would ask the question, we're going through terrible times, and Robbie would ask you the question, do we need to look for another manager? And I said, well, look, another club probably would. And, really, if they sacked him, so, this is Arteta, you couldn't really complain. But I always said that I wanted a complete transformation in the squad. We also lost 2-1 to Everton in December 2020, around then. And again, the same questions are being asked. It seems to be whenever we lose to Everton, it's around a very dark period for Arteta. Yeah. However, this is a much, much better period. And it was that defeat last season that made me, for the first time, go, I think I'm ready to see something different. I don't get the football, and I'd really lost faith. Not long after, we're talking a matter of weeks, we put in a few wins in a row. Yep. We lost to Man City 2-1, but we played really well. And I said from that moment, I was all in with Arteta, and I was willing to see a lot more before it got to any stage of, wanting change or anything. And in fairness, the trajectory's only been up. Yes, we missed out on on Champions League football. Yep. We've got better and better. Yes, again, we lost players through injury. We had some bad moments, but you see the trajectory of the team has always been up. And now we're back here. We've kind of come full circle. But, again, you're always wary of a team like Everton.
100%, James. Now, from one inexperienced manager, Mikel Arteta, currently managing Arsenal, to a new manager, an experienced manager, but a new manager at Everton, Sean Dyche. Obviously, I don't know if you saw, I think it was deadline day, trending on Twitter, was like, sack the board, and there was a lot of angry Everton fans. Obviously, they didn't bring anyone in January as well. Yeah, they didn't bring anyone in January. They've now got Sean Dyche, their manager, an established manager, when it comes to this sort of, getting a team out of the rust and the rubble at the bottom and getting them, to his style of play. So, Sean Dyche, new manager, you touched on at the beginning, do you think there'll be a manager bounce there? You're right, they haven't had long, but could see a manager bounce. Worried about it?
I think we'll see both. I think we may see 5-10 minutes of real kind of, right, let's get behind the manager. This is a real opportunity to kickstart our season. They're an amazing fan base. We'll get behind their team. The reason they stayed up last year, you can credit Lampard to a degree. Absolutely, he was the manager. But the fan base and what they made Goodison for that final stretch was massive as well. So when you include Dyche, some of the really good players Everton do have, because I do believe there's some good players in there, the fan base, there's a reason we drop a lot of points when we come to Everton. It's not just out of nothing. They've got some good players and they've been a good team over the years. Last year's not so much.
Spent a lot of money. It's Everton, historically, spending a lot of money.
And now they've had to sell a lot, and the
Yeah.
squad doesn't look in a good place. I will be honest, it doesn't. And really, Arsenal should be winning this game. But what you might get is if the first 10, 15 minutes Arsenal are on the ball a lot, even just get an early goal, but I just think have a lot of shots and just show a degree of dominance in the game, then you might find it turn sort of sour and toxic towards the owners because the fan base, and I respect it, they don't want to let the owners get away with it. They've actually negotiated sales not too badly. Gordon's gone 45 million. I don't believe he's worth that. Richardson's gone for 60 million. I don't believe he's worth that. There's quite a few, but no incomings. That is shocking. And I think Arsenal, having actually done good business, in a weird way, the transfer window can feel like a win or a defeat in the league. It sounds so silly because it doesn't matter for points, but
that's how we felt last season in January. We didn't sign anyone.
Momentum and definitely. And Arsenal definitely go in off the back of that with better momentum and rhythm.
All right, let's look at some more things from Arsenal. What we do know about, obviously, just quickly on the topic though, you said about our record against Everton is not great. Everton have won their last 2 home league games against Arsenal. But I want to run through some of our results because it's been very, very glorious so far as an Arsenal fan.
Yep.
And Arsenal 3-2 win at United, obviously at home. We saw their last 5. Tottenham, we beat them away 2-0. What a great game it was. Sorry, still living off that. Lovely. Enjoyed that one. 0-0 draw against Newcastle at home. The only time we really kind of dropped points that kind of felt, was a bit of a pain there. And then Brighton, we beat them 4-2, obviously away. And then
it's a stunning set of results.
It's good. 3-1 against West Ham.
When you look at what Brighton are doing now, Newcastle in a cup final, sitting in the top 4 of the league. And then Tottenham and United, we know what those rivalries mean to us. Pick up 10 out of 12. We'll probably drop points in the one that's the most acceptable because we know how defensively resolute Newcastle are. Yeah, we go into it in red hot form.
Perfect. And lastly, just quickly, the referee was David Coote for the game and VAR will be John Brooks. Now, I think it's time we should kind of discuss really the new signs that came into Arsenal, what we're now we can look forward to seeing on the bench. Looking over at the bench, Mikel Arteta has various options. Obviously, made 3 signings in January window. I think we spent roughly around 55 million. It's looking very good. Jorginho, Kivior, and Trossard. I mean, I don't know how fans are feeling. You can also let us know in the comments. But for me, a January window, I'm used to negative January windows. This one does feel positive. Yes, we didn't get our initial targets, our first targets, but still we got cover where we need, and hopefully it will take us to the promised land. But we have a lot of options on the bench. We can look at that, I suppose, now. All right, James, the tactical pad's up. This is your domain. Do you know what? I was just looking at some of the names that we have now. I should feel more confident as a fan. It's Everton, they're 19th, so they've only won 3 games. We're on 50 points. But I don't know what it is. I think it's PTSD. I need to get rid of it. Come on, Cecil, different mentality. But the names we have available to us now.
There's good depth. That's really what we want to explore today. I mean, if we just build the 11, starting with Aaron Ramsdale, if he fancies coming out, there we go. Get Aaron Ramsdale in goal, start building the back 4. I mean, let's face it, why waste time on the discussion?
Yeah, we know we're going to
pretty much the same 11. But I mean, may as well ask, would you be tempted to do anything different? Partey did have the rib injury. Would you maybe think not to risk him?
No. I think you start with the full strength side. I think you go with what we're used to seeing, the Partey in there. Zinchenko fullback, seeing the Xhaka, the Martin Odegaard, and then the usual front 3. And then I think you can start to look at then maybe some other options off the bench. It'd be nice to see Kivior. I was disappointed I didn't see him in the FA Cup, but I get it. It's Man City, but I was upset not to see him.
I always find it so hard to tell how straight it is. Here we go.
Oh no, you're all good. And also, I have to mention as well at this point, on the time of recording, Jesus was at training today and Reece Nelson in full training today. So this is good. I doubt they'll be on the bench, but it's nice to hear they're back in training as well. So it just bodes so well for this Arsenal side of the strength and depth of what we have. The last player there,
get
Martinelli as well.
A bit of a struggle. But
look at the names.
I mean, it's a starting 11 that I really love.
Yeah.
But what we can start to do now is build a bench down here, and I think this is where it gets really impressive.
Trossard, superb by the way since he's been in. I know we haven't seen much. We might be saying, slow down.
I'm not going to put Nelson in there yet because I don't think he's fit yet. But Vieira, Smith Rowe, we know it was a minor injury. Every chance he's available.
Oh wow, yeah, Smith Rowe as well.
Okay, we know Nelly's injured, but then you've got Tierney as well. Let's go across.
A lot of the players we have here, you're not dropping in quality when you're doing a like for like sub. That's what it feels like, which I think a lot of fans have been wanting.
In here.
Obviously, we're excited to see these. They've got Kivior there. Whether Jorginho will make an appearance as well. I'll be interested to see where Mikel Arteta goes with. This is why we're doing this, because there is many options.
Jorginho. Still struggling to come over. Go on, I'll let you. Go on, try dragging him.
There we go. Jorginho. Look how many names there are over there.
I know.
Wow.
And it's, if we just highlight them in blue, blue makes sense. Let's get the... Does this want to work? The tactical pad is being temperamental today.
Oh, what?
Do you know what? We'll ignore it.
Well, it said they had blue and said, no, we're not doing that.
No, very true. But look, the point is, Tomiyasu Tierney holding Kivior, names that you're probably quite comfortable in a game like this to bring in. Smith Rowe, Vieira, you've got some attacking midfield or front three depth there. You've got Trossard and you've got Jorginho who can come in and slow the game down at a different tempo, at a degree of control. This is a level of bench we haven't had for a very, very long time. Now, I'm not saying the January window was perfect. I've said my thoughts. It was good.
I'm glad you went with that.
Maybe very good. I was happy with it.
Yeah.
But, it was perfect. It was maybe in some ways underwhelming. What we've definitely come out with is a bench that you look at and go, I can see how if this isn't working, I'm actually quite happy to turn to the bench and see if we can do something else. Can Vieira or Smith Rowe come in the Xhaka position and give us a little bit more impetus from that area? Can Trossard come into the front three if anyone's having a bad day? This doesn't include the injured Reece Nelson and Gabriel Jesus, who you mentioned.
Once they return,
are soon to come back. Tierney can come off as Zinchenko and overlaps. Zinchenko come into midfield. Oh, White's not having a good game, like against Manchester United, or Tomiyasu comes in. It's been a long time since we've had a level of depth like this, and we can be excited by that.
You can see excited. I'm grinning. I was holding back my smile there because I look at this and I think, look, with this 11 wins for me, wins the league. This 11, just a strong 11 by itself. Maybe even with Ben Ketchup, but even with Jesus in there, right? Now we have a bench that I'm not saying improves the squad and brings it up another level, but
I got the square.
He got the square and then he had to get it done. But it doesn't. I'm not saying it improves the squad, the bench, but it gives you a level of a like for like. So if I believe that the 11 can go and win the league, I think the subs we can bring on, it has enough strength there to keep it at the level that will allow us to, get all the way. But that is it, James. We've kind of got the subs there, the 11 on the screen.
I'm just trying to make them look pretty.
That's all good.
On screen.
I do want to get your score prediction. At this stage.
I went for 1-0 on Trevor Arsenal. I'll stick with that. Yeah,
19th.
I think
3 wins.
Sean Dyche. They'll be organised. They'll work hard. They'll want to show the Everton fans that they've got enough within them to keep them up. Because otherwise, it's a very, very long and hard second half of the season. Even if they lose this game, they've got to show something. Everton. So I'm backing us to win, but find it tough in some ways.
Okay. I'm going to go with 3-1. I was going to say 2-1, but 3-1. You're right. I think the Everton fans are going to be very, I think quite hostile. They'll be happy to see a new manager, but they're off the back of not signing anyone in January. It's going to be a hostile environment, so they're going to have to show something, at least a reaction, especially with a new manager. So I believe Everton might nick a goal, probably be Demarai Gray, my danger man, and I'll get yours after this. But 3-1 for me. Danger man for Everton.
Calvert-Lewin. I think strikers tend to have big performances when a new manager comes in. They want to show something. There'll be a lot of service to him. The team will be told, get the ball in early, get the crosses in early, aim for Calvert-Lewin. He is good in the air. We do this with players. 2 years ago, he looked an absolute world beater. Everyone had to go pick him up. Arsenal being linked. A year on from that, he's useless. What's anyone worried about him for? Yeah. He's a good player, and also players that are good in the air and powerful and have that ability to beat you physically. They don't really lose that. So I think that would be a good test for Gabriel and Saliba. But I'd expect them to come through it, and really with the fact that I'm expecting them to go for a 4-4-2, Zinchenko coming inside. You're really thinking we show the majority of the midfield. So I'm expecting us to win it, but Calvert-Lewin on set pieces, maybe going long, a little bit more direct, I think it'll cause us some problems.
Thank you, James. So a 1-0 from James, a 3-1 from me. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And yes, it is come Saturday, Everton versus Arsenal. Are we excited to see the new signings? And can Arsenal hopefully continue their winning form and get a win this Saturday? Thank you. If you like this video, subscribe if you're new. And we'll see you again very soon. Take care.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.